Welcome, everyone, to the Internet Culture Podcast. Now, I know the biggest topic this week for internet culture has been Dr. Disrespect. So I want to jump directly into Dr. Disrespect. No homo, no diddy. We are going to talk about his entire history. This is something very important, extremely important, and we're going to see this history repeat itself. Just hear me out for a second, then we're going to talk about it. First things first. Dr. Disrespect starts streaming around 2016, 2017 range. He very quickly becomes one of the most watched streamers in the entire world by streaming PUBG mainly and also other games. He was a very, very funny guy around this time. If anybody remembers 2017 internet landscape, he was the person to talk about. And then, Fortnite and Ninja came in and all that, and it kind of overshined him. But in 2017, he was the stuff, bro. He was the streamer. So much so that he won the Streamer of the Year that very year, which was huge. He averaged 25K concurrents before it was normal to average 1,000 concurrents. Now you have a ton of streamers, doing 100K, 25K, and in between that range, you have tons of streamers that are like that. Keep in mind they're also the upper echelon of streamers still, but you have a lot of streamers doing that. But back then that was like, Super Bowl numbers, you know what I'm saying, for streaming. During one of these streams, he was banned during 2017. He decided at some type of meet and greet meetup, he does an IRL stream and he goes into a public restroom trying to do some type of bit. And first off, that's weird, bro. You're a weirdo for going into a public restroom. There are people that got to do their business. It's already bad enough to go to a public restroom, and then when you got to do that too, it just makes it so much worse. But he wins Streamer of the Year despite these controversies. During this year, on top of going into public restrooms, he comes out publicly and says he was unfaithful to his wife. This is important later. Other than that, it's just a human having human issues. That's okay. But this becomes a bigger deal later when in 2020 he was banned out of the blue. There was no reason for this. Absolutely no reason given by Twitch. There was no reason given by anyone. Twitch just bans him right out.
And it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Really big deal. And we didn't know why he got banned until last week when Cody Connors, a Twitter socialite, absolute delinquent, says, if you guys get me 200 sales on my concert, I'm going to release why Dr. Disrespect was banned. This is a real thing. You can fact check this online. Look up Cody Connors or Evoli on Twitter. You can see his entire Twitter logs. He just basically is trying to sell tickets, and then reveals why he got banned. Dr. Disrespect got banned for talking to a minor in 2017. Now, if you've not connected the dots by now, he was unfaithful to his wife in 2017 with a minor. Very clearly, he was unfaithful to his wife with a minor. At this time, in 2017, Twitch knew that he was unfaithful to this minor. This was the top person on their platform. They had him in iron sights, bro. They always were watching him because everybody else was. He was the face of Twitch. In 2017, they knew he had talked to a minor. According to their own information and their own Twitch Whispers chat logs, they knew he was talking to a minor, continued to not full ban him for the public restroom thing, which was a very easy slam dunk for them to make there. They could have full banned him there and said that was the reason, because they knew something else was weird going on in the background. But they chose not to ban him for another 3 years after they knew that he talked to a minor. I think this is where we can kind of have an opinion. And I want us to tie this in to the current state of things like Rumble and Kick. So Kick realizes that Twitch is getting extremely strict on their rules now. Rightfully so, because something like this would not pass today on Twitch. If somebody came out talking to a minor, they're immediately banned. We've seen it happen time and time again. Sneeko, Gideon, these people got banned for way less. In certain cases, I didn't even consider it needed a ban. And they've gotten banned for way less. So do we think that Kick is going to become like Twitch, where eventually, after a long period of time, they start stricting up and they start just banning people out of the blue?
Like Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, where Thanos snaps his fingers and just like half the Earth like disappears, right? The
That's what it would
universe,
have to look like on Twitch, bro. The way that people are doing things over there, bro. Or Kick, my fault.
dude.
Which is, yeah, Kick has been a mess, bro.
Sneeko be like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Sorry.
But it has been a mess.
Just
Well,
photo.
isn't Sneak on Rumble?
He is on Rumble, but
I have no idea what he's on.
uh,
Rumble is like alt-right Kick.
basically,
Is how
yeah,
I would
dude.
put it. Is how
Yeah.
I would put it. No quit. But
Rumble's a little bit different though too because it's like YouTube where you can post videos as well.
I didn't even know
It
that.
leans
I
into the
don't know
video
much
thing
about
as well.
Rumble. I just know that
I got the app.
it's it caters to a very specific audience is what
Let's-
Rumble does.
Let's take a look at
Um,
the app. Oh, I got banned. No, I'm just kidding.
But
There's like.
speaking,
a
oh,
bunch of
so
people.
speaking on Doctor Disrespect, it goes to show that the company knew the whole time, which is so in being a repeated offender, it paints the portrait of what kind of person he really is. No matter if you've seen like his issued apology and all sorts of stuff, I think it really goes to show that that is BS. If you didn't know that he edited out the part, so in his like response tweet, he said,
I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. He said, so he edited the tweet, or he had the tweet originally, and it said, speaking to, like, caught me speaking to an individual minor. Yeah, but if you look at the edit history, so he started out the tweet with it saying individual minor, changed it to just saying individual, and then once people caught him for saying individual, yeah, you can find it right there. Once people caught him for saying, for switching it, he switched it back to individual minor, hoping that no one would notice. If you look at the middle one, that's where he just says individual. And I watched Moist Critical's video on it. It's a good video. Go check it out if you want like another deep dive into it in his personhood. But basically, it's just so screwed up, and it goes to show, really, what kind of person he is. Especially when you look at this repeated behavior. This is something that you see from pedophiles. This is literally something that you see from pedophiles. If you also like, if you look at his phrasing, the way he talks about it, another thing that you see a lot from pedophiles, he goes, nothing illegal happened here. He doesn't talk about morals. He doesn't really talk about that stuff in the same way. Yeah, he says from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. But if you look at the way that even before, so this is his second or third response, if I'm not mistaken. He changed
Yeah, no,
it.
it is. Yeah, yeah.
And,
So
like,
a couple
he,
times
made
before,
multiple-
he
And-
said, "Look, I
Listen
didn't
off-
do anything wrong. All this was probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found, and I was paid."
Look at that. That shows that he has no moral connection to it. Nothing illegal. That is literally terminology that pedophiles will use. That, like, if you ask them what was wrong with what they're doing, or like when they try to meet with a minor, they say it's illegal.
Yeah, dude.
And it's because they don't have a moral perspective of why touching kids or talking to kids is bad. Dr. Disrespect planned on meeting with this minor at TwitchCon. This is a serious thing.
And it was clearly stopped
planned
by
for it.
Twitch at the time because if they knew
Exactly.
and they didn't
It
stop
would've
it, it's messed
happened.
up.
It literally would have happened. And so I think they knew, okay, this is when it's getting really serious. This guy's actually going to touch a kid. And then they stepped in. And that's honestly so messed up that they knew that this kind of stuff happened with him. Didn't do anything about it. It's even more messed up. It shows who Dr. Disrespect is as a human being, but it also shows how corporations will target the money. They know Dr. Disrespect is a big moneymaker. They targeted that before anything else. And
Yeah,
that
dude,
really goes to show
absolutely.
that is that they knew this guy was a threat to kids and all sorts of stuff, but they chose to keep it. They chose to keep him around, and it's just so messed up.
No, it truly is, dude. It's extremely messed up because I mean the way that he words things, he labels it like he's freaking J-Oma, bro. So I don't know how to really describe this other than almost taking your moral stance out of it. So like as an attorney, I'm sure you guys know that most attorneys cannot attach themselves morally to any issue that they are representing. Think about somebody like a OJ. He was defended by the Mr. Kardashian, and you can't say, "Hey, yo, I'm morally in this fight." Like I'm morally in this fight because he knew damn well that OJ killed somebody, and later on in his career, he said, I thought he was gonna get guilty because I knew that he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very clear that this dude did something wrong, and so he's trying to use this legal jargon to like make himself seem innocent when very clearly the whole world knows you're guilty, dude. And then you had to publicly come out and say that you were guilty, and ultimately, I think Dr. Disrespect is not. He may be a pedophile, but I don't think that deep down he wants to be. Okay? And the reason why I say deep down I don't think he wants to be is because he did come out and confirm the allegations. I think he knows he did something wrong.
Well,
Um,
and that's the thing with some pedophiles too, or like anyone with severe mental illness. They know something's not clicking right in their brain. They know they're not behaving normally. So you get the ones that seek help, and you get the ones that fall into their disorderly behavior. And more often than not, we see the ones that fall into disorderly behavior because it's much easier to say, this is just natural for me because this is how I feel and getting into something than it is to say, this is not okay. I'm feeling something wrong and stepping out of it and going to receive that help. And so that's how these pedophiles think. And hopefully with this, we see the steps in the right direction for him as a human being, receiving serious, serious mental help because that is obviously what he needs to be
normal part of society again.
Not even normal part of society, just to be a moral person.
Yeah.
Just to you know have a see. I don't like to use the word normal because like
I understand what you're saying.
I don't think there's
'cause
necessarily an
you don't want to
objective
shame
normal
anybody
in
that
terms
would
of-
be struggling with mental illness.
right because I think normal is like is a blanket term. Like I don't think it actually there's any objective normalcy in terms of the human brain because it's so unique.
Agreed.
That being said, there are things that we can look at as objectively good behaviors and objectively bad behaviors outside of our subjective ways of thinking. And when someone's thinking in an objectively bad behavior, that's when you have to recognize that something needs to step in and take precedence to be able to help these people think morally in a good and positive manner, the way a human conscious would traditionally work.
Yeah.
A healthy mind, not normal, a healthy mind would work. And
Yes,
so
yes, I agree with that.
That's what we want to bring them to. And so hopefully with these, we can see him take those steps in the right direction.
Hopefully.
But, yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Honestly, I agree. And I want to talk about real quick the other biggest thing that we need to talk about that is happening tonight as of the filming of this podcast. The debates are going on. This is something that is important for every single American. If you're not watching the debates, you should you should at least watch some type of highlight of the debates. I know that sounds stupid, like it's a freaking sports game, but watch the debates. Be an educated voter. Go out and vote. And with that, I just want to show one clip from the debates.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President.
Now,
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it.
oh yeah, you can. It's okay. It's just him moaning into the mic.
Oh, okay.
I picked the first post I found on Twitter. I just thought it was funny. I'm sure that there's going to be many of these mess ups on both sides. People mess up when they're in front of a giant crowd. That's honestly what happens. I do think I think it was a funny clip. I wanted to draw it back into being funny rather than being serious.
Serious.
You guys know how it is. We keep it serial around here.
Keep it a buck, Cyril. And you got to keep things a little lighthearted because it's like it's important to stay educated. It's also important to realize that you should take the enjoyment of life first before tearing.
Oh yeah,
before,
and ultimately, also there's like a ton of corruption in this voting season that hasn't
in our government
around. Well, it's been around, but it's been like in the background. Currently, we're seeing independence as a whole getting pushed down. I want to touch note on this.
RFK.
Whether you believe in it or not, whether you support RFK or not, this year they did raise the polling limit for anybody to be in a debate. So basically how it works is you have to pull X amount of the population to be included in the Republican and Democrat debates, or the debates that are supposed to be for all parties. And this year they increased it to specifically get somebody out of it. I don't want to say his name because it's controversial. I don't want to talk too much about it, whether I support him or not. I like to keep it unpolitical here. But I do want to spot out corruption when it happens, and this is clearly corrupt. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So it was actually after he was projected to hit the right number, that's when they raised it. Once he was projected to hit the number above the number reached, they doubled. I believe it was doubled. I don't quote me on that, but it was a fair margin that they increased. And obviously, now he is not able to reach that be at the debates, and it really sucks because it takes away a whole face and a whole person to give their opinion, to give their side of things. It takes away an entire side of the story
yeah,
in the way to put it. And like it's just upsetting because it goes to show that it continues to show the separation in the corruption in our media and in our government, and it continues to show how much they don't want to see us as Americans and as human beings working together. They they want to see they want to put two people on opposite sides, and they want to tell you pick one or the other, and they want to tell you to fight against each other. But I would like to think that as a human race we are all on the same side, whether it's what we're
I agree.
I think you really want to look at most people don't the majority of people, not all people, most people are doing what they believe is the best thing and the right thing. They're doing what they believe to be the best thing for all people.
Absolutely.
And I think that we need to come at a place of understanding in terms of hearing other people's opinions and beliefs. And I feel like that's something that the media really tries to separate us. And I just want, all of our viewers to know that don't let other people tell you how to see your friends and your family, and don't let other people tell you how to see the people who love and care about you and care about things, because they believe that they're doing what's right just as much as you believe you're doing what's right. It's
Absolutely.
you got to put yourself into their shoes because they are, you are the same in the fact that you believe you're doing what's right. And so
I
I just want
even
to,
think
yeah.
don't let us tell you to not let others tell you how to let you live your life. It's-
Can you run that one back? I didn't
yeah,
understand that
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
all.
So don't let others tell you how to not let others run your life either, you know?
So don't listen to me. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying don't listen to anyone. Everyone's against you. Not really. I'm saying basically don't let anyone tell you how to live your life at all. Even us is what I was trying to say. Even us. We are not the foremost. We're not. Our intelligence level isn't like up here, and we are to be listened to at every single point. Even us. And I know that there's definitely people that watch, my videos that most definitely take some of my words that I say, as a joke or as a political belief or as a personal belief, and they take it to heart. I'm even saying, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I don't know your life. I don't know what you should do in any given moment. And I think ultimately what you got to do is you got to deeply think about it in yourself. You got to deeply think about it in yourself. You should pray about it. You should talk to somebody about it. You should talk to many people
Speaking.
about it, and you should take everybody, that a collective of every single person around you, smash it together, contemplate it, and then you should finally have some type of coherent sphere of knowledge rather than one singular strain. Hopefully that makes sense. I think I'm just
I
basically saying what you're saying, just in a different way.
No, I understand what you mean. I really listening to what others have to say and contemplating it rather than taking what people say for face value. Is that sort of what you're saying? Like
Yeah, I'm
not
saying,
hearing, oh,
I'm,
I heard this
I'm,
about I heard X about Y candidate. I don't just believe that because I heard it. I research and I look at what they say. I look, well, how does that make me feel? How does that affect people? Um, you really bask on what they're saying, and you don't take any sort of outside influences um to influence your opinion, or you take everything you hear, you contemplate on it, and you form your own opinion based on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like that is really the best way to look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we are on the same page. I was just doubling down on a certain section of it is all it was.
Oh no, I get you.
The next thing I want to talk about real quick is something that is very close to I think every single person in this call's heart, which is the states. There's now 16 different states here that are increasing their laws on porn site restrictions. That's the last time I'm going to say that P word because it is known to take people's monetization away entirely. But basically, there's a lot of these, I hate corn, but people say corn laws that are passed in 16 different states that are varying levels of like legislation. But basically, we need to talk about this because we've talked about it many different times. I personally am a believer in the fact that porn can really only negatively impact your mental health, specifically as a youthful boy in between the ages of 13 to 18 when you really shouldn't be watching it. I personally have struggled with watching things that I shouldn't be watching and I shouldn't be taking in.
I think over 90% of men have statistically.
Statistically, there's so many people that have, even the people that would seem like they're the most prepared for it,
I think it's 98% of men between 13 and 21 have some sort of addiction to that. I don't want to say it to get you demonetized, but the reason we're bringing it up today is because of yesterday. Yesterday, so June 26th, I believe it would have been.
Yep.
New legislation has come out. So it basically what was going on was legal strikes coming down on Corn Hub. I guess I don't
That
like using
works.
that term either, but
PH works too.
okay, yeah. So legal issues coming down on PH. So what happened was basically the government was like, "Hey, PH, we need you to put further restrictions on children getting onto your site." So how it would work is more or less you would have to put in an ID to get on their account or to get on their website rather than just saying I am 18, like just clicking that and continuing. There's a lot more restrictions that would come to you. Like I think submitting your ID was one of the ones they brought up, or any other way to verify that you are of age of 18 plus. And basically what happened is PH said, well, we don't want to do that, so much so that we're no longer going to operate in these 5 states where this law was determined.
Well, I think
Now what this tells us is that PH knows that children are accessing their platforms so much so that they decided to completely leave in these specific states because that's how much of their numbers are children, and they know that. They know how they're negatively affecting our youth. They know how they're negatively affecting young men, and they literally don't care. They don't care. There's no other reason to do what they did. If their reasoning for why they were there in the first place was for adult entertainment, for adults, they wouldn't have left. They wouldn't have left these states. This is not a difficult thing to do. And I feel like that's the only reason for them to do what they did. So it goes to show you what that industry is like. It goes to show you more of why it's a problem. It is not a good thing, and it's targeting children. That's a horrible thing. It is targeting children. So
Agreed.
either of you
It
have a
is-
take on that,
Dude, my take is very similar to yours. I think ultimately the reason why they pulled out of these states entirely is because a lot of information was going to come out that they were targeting minors. Not only just allowing minors and saying, oh, okay, yeah, minors can be on the platform, like we don't really care. But not only that, but they were targeting minors. Specifically targeting minors. And these videos create poor sexual habits. They create an obvious sexual impurity problem that just leads to more issues. People having a higher rate of intercourse is just very clearly not a good thing. Okay. The reason why it's not a good thing is because it just makes other problems that we've already been experiencing a lot worse. Specifically, when you get to the idea of polyamorous relationships where somebody is not monogamous, it's not good for a functioning society. A functioning society would be, you know, a one where people are very safe with how they experience these things. And when you look at things like PH, where you have the same actor with 50 people, which isn't the normal. Also, I want to say, but that's the to the highest extent. Normally, they have many different partners. It is showing people, even though they are doing it safely, they are not showing people that are common how to do it safely in every single video. So it's causing a lot of issues. That's why we have, current STI issues. That's why we have current, family issues where, a father will come in and abandon his family, which is, you are scum if you do that. You are the lowest person you are one of the lowest people in the planet if you choose to have a child and abandon it. You are a terrible person if you choose to do that. It just creates bad other issues, and it creates people that are not functioning in society. When you show these terrible ideas on how things that were meant to be something very sacred,
And the thing is, guys, is like that's just one of the many issues. I mean, I want to well, don't listen to me, but like necessarily, but like if this is something you're interested in, or it's something that you're concerned about, which you should be if you are, I feel like you should be, if it's something you view, or it's like, I feel like it's such a it's been embedded into our society so much that it's just, if you have a care for things, some people just do not care about things, and I've never understood that, but like that's not my life, man.
No,
you
it's
living
not.
your life, but I feel like if you care about big things like morality, humanity, this is objective good. This is something that you should do research in. I feel like,
I think
or
ultimately,
should look into doing research for, because there is so many issues that can be highlighted. And what Brody said, that is just one of so many. And if you look at the effects on the brain, if you
mental
talk
health
about mental
entirely.
health, yeah, depression is skyrocketed, and is actually linked to depression for many people. It's like 40% of women, and like I said earlier, like 90% of men. Is I think it's like around 68% of men with depression. Part of it is porn induced. Part of it is literally porn induced. 68% of men with depression. That is such a large number.
If we
that
look at the
you have to look at the
population,
seriousness of that.
First off, I want to say I really quickly researched this because I've seen this statistic before, and that's why I wanted to show it to you right now. I want to make sure this has not been fact checked. This is something that I just pulled up recently, but 18 to 25 is where we see the highest amount of depression rate in men, which is 18.6%. Now, ultimately, there's different rates for children, but 18 to 25 is where, most of the time when you are an eligible bachelor, you're the one that is supposed to be targeted by the PH industry. And that is where we're seeing the highest depression rate. I'm not going to sit here and say that's because of PH. I'm not going to say that's the only reason. But
But it definitely is a big part
when
of it.
that's their target market and they are depressed, it normally is a little bit of an issue. I'm also going to say that this right here, what we're doing right now, social media, is also a very large portion of the depression rate among youth as well. It absolutely is, and I'm not going to sit here and ridicule something else without pulling the log out of my own eye. I know that some of my content ultimately is not going to react positively to every single human. But ultimately, I think what we're doing with PH is we are taking something that has not been that it has already had existing laws on it and enforcing those laws rather than changing up an entire industry. We are not changing anything. According to these laws, we shouldn't see pH pull out of any states. They should just simply see it as a step up. They're stepping up their game. They're doing the right thing, not pulling out of these states. And it shows that they are doing the wrong thing. Unless you had anything else, I did want to end that subject and talk about something funny.
Yeah, I'm all good.
All right, sweet.
I'm down for something funny.
All right, guys. So I did not watch season 4 of The Boys. This is something that did not happen. But I have been seeing lots of TikToks. Recently, somebody by the name of Jacob, this is Cyril's brother, said, I don't watch The Boys, but I watch a lot of Boys edits. And this is my favorite Boys edits.
Hollywood sign, this is also crazy. Everybody say, I'm the plane in LA, I go with the dream, my cardigan. Welcome to the land of
Frenchie do be gotten that fit on, though. Because I ain't gonna lie.
It's fitted up.
I ain't gonna cap. Frenchie be fitted up for real. Anyways, guys, I think that's a fun note to end it on. We're going to try our best to talk about something funny next week. Please. Nothing major happened, bro. Serious week for real. Doctor disrespected his wife and minors. See you, beat-ups, later.